Welcome back to No Man's Sky, everyone. Jason here, and this is our beginner's guide to No Man's Sky. So in the first episode, we woke up on a planet, we fixed some of our broken technology, and we fixed our ship. So now it is time to leave your spawn planet and figure out what is going on in this universe. So let's take off. And in No Man's Sky, again, remember, you can switch between different perspectives. We're in first person now, so we can kind of see our cockpit and everything around it. But if you press down on your D-pad, go all the way over to the gear, you can switch between first person and third person. And I prefer third person. I like looking at my cool ships when I'm flying them around. So yeah, we've just left the atmosphere. And this is when they kind of go over your different controls when you're flying around in your spaceship. So you can just do, just hit the triggers and you'll regular fly, like you're just going around. Or if you hit B or O if you're on a PlayStation, B if you're on Xbox, you will actually boost a little bit. You get a little bit of a boost. And if you want a big boost, it's called a pulse drive. That is going to be your left and right bumpers, or R1 and L1 while you're flying. It'll warm up and then boom, shoot you forward. And this is the fastest you can go without activating your hyperdrive. But we don't have one of those yet. We'll get there when we'll talk about it when we get there. We're getting a call. Let's see what's going on here. Incoming transmission. Source 4925B. Please identify yourself. And it breaks up. We're going to identify ourselves. You are not alone. And it breaks up. The broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of the signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. Well, let's put those coordinates in and see what the heck is going on. Where is this at? So there's signal coming from this planet in our system. So we started out on our original planet. Where did it go? I think we started out on this planet over here. And I mean, there's multiple different planets in a system. Every system in No Man's Sky is going to be a little bit different. It has different planets, might have a little bit more, a little bit less. This system seems to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different planets, which is pretty awesome. So let's head on over to the signal source and see what the heck is happening. And you'll notice there's a timer on here. It says we'll arrive in 50 seconds, and that's with your when you're pulse driving. If I was just regular flying the ship, it would take me days to get over there, or hours probably. So as we can see, we can kind of look around here while we're pulse driving. You can also perform a scan in ship that will scan the planet and tell you what it's about. So if we scan real fast, now we know this planet we're flying to. It is called EVO. It is a blighted planet. It has fungal mold, copper, ammonia, and magnetized ferrite. It will have other materials on it, but those are the unique ones that are only on that planet. And I say only on that planet. If you scan another planet, you'll get different sets of materials, but they're kind of shared. So we have copper, gold, and salt on this planet, which is a cabled planet. It's a different type of planet. So it's basically giving you the rare resources that you normally won't find, randomly thrown out there. Like carbon, for instance, that comes from plants. That's on every planet. Ferrite dust that comes out of rocks and stone. That's on every planet. So you don't need to be told, oh yeah, there's ferrite dust there. You automatically know that there's ferrite dust there. There's going to be carbon there. So instead, they tell you the top materials that you won't find generally out in on every planet. And looks like we're gonna be landing on the dark side of the planet. Awesome. So there is a day and night cycle in No Man's Sky. Daytime lasts 15 minutes in real life, and nighttime lasts for 15 minutes in real life. So every day in No Man's Sky is about half an hour in real life time. So you can kind of measure that out. So when you see the sun goes down, you know you got about 15 minutes of nighttime. And now, oh, we have our target sweeper. This is the introduction to one of the features I do not like in No Man's Sky. I absolutely hate this. So whenever you get a mission, it'll mark the general location of that mission. So you don't know where it is exactly. It'll just mark the area that it's in. And so what we need to do is we need to pull up our visor, and it'll come up with a target sweeper. And so it'll kind of tell you, oh, there's a general area this is in. So you'll see how it's highlighting left on my my visor. So if I look left, there we go, target aligned. So we know it's in this direction, and estimated distance, we know it's 230-ish, 240-ish feet away, or meters away. So now that we know it's over in this direction, let's run towards that direction. Fill up my protections here. Get our materials. Again, get our materials as we're going along. You definitely want to get all this sorted out. That way you don't have to worry about it later on. And if you ever get lost, like if you get all twisted around, like you don't know which direction you're supposed to go to, you can always pull up your visor again and realign yourself. So you know, oh, it's over here. And it'll always line up. So if I turn to the right, it'll say, no, it's over on the left. If I go too far left, it'll say, nope, go back to the right. So it kind of points you in the general direction you need to go. And as you get closer and closer, that signal will get stronger and stronger. And it actually looks like we're running into the wreckage that we need to. Yep, right there. That is what we need to hit right there. Target aligned right there, 123 feet away. So let's head down here. And as you get closer, it locks onto it. And then, boom! Now we know with absolute certainty that's where we need to go. You don't need to do it because, I mean, there's nothing else around, so obviously this is the place to go. But you can. So let's see. Let's investigate this, what is it? This broken technology. The sparking wires of the machine generate a signal, tapping out its broadcast into the void. Whoever left the message is long gone. So let's decipher the signal. Decoding. 16, 16, 16. So 16 is very important in the No Man's Sky lore. And when you progress through the storyline, you kind of figure out what the number 16 means in No Man's Sky. Entry 4925C. No fuel in something. Failed to reach the station. Hazard protection is low. No choice but to something underground. Deployed a base computer. As well as the log entry, the signal contains plans for a base computer and a terrain manipulator. With any luck, the base computer will hold more information about whoever is leaving these messages behind. Well, let's extract those plans. So now we've learned blueprints for a base computer. We need 30 chromatic metal. And we also learned how to make a terrain manipulator. It's another tool you could put on your multi-tool. So this terrain manipulator allows you to user to reshape the regions as they wish. So basically, this allows you to dig down into the ground or get mineral deposits. So we're talking copper, you know, cadmium, which is another metallic item that you find in No Man's Sky. It allows you to basically dig around in the ground. So now we need to install the terrain manipulator because in order to make chromatic metal, we need to get some copper going. So in order to make the terrain manipulator, we need carbon nanotubes and dihydrogen jelly. Now, if you remember, we have a lot of basic building blocks that we've learned in our repertoire, in our cargo. So let's look at our list. We have, carbon nanotubes. We need 2 of those. So again, you can press left bumper and right bumper to make multiples. There you go. So we need 2. We'll make 2. That's 100 carbon. We also need to make dihydrogen jelly, which is going to take 40 dihydrogen crystals, those blue crystals. We need to make 1 of those, so let's make 1. So now we should be able to build our terrain manipulator. Let's go in here into our multi-tool. and install it. And then after you install it, you need to finalize it by putting in the materials it needs. And now we're good. We're done. We're set. We have our terrain manipulator. And it will automatically, whenever you install a new technology, it'll switch to it because it assumes you installed it because you want to use it. So let's look around. If you pull out your visor, we'll now have copper deposits marked for you. So now we know there's a copper deposit 300 feet away. I mean, there also is other deposits, like we have magnetized ferrite. There's going to be all kinds of different materials that you can collect from these deposits, but you need a terrain manipulator in order to get them. So let's head over to a copper deposit, and you'll notice I marked a location. So if you are in your visor and you see something you really like that plant, the sweet root right there, if you hold down square or X if you're on, X if you're on Xbox, or square if you're on PlayStation, it will actually highlight that item. That way you don't have to hold out your visor the entire time. So now if I put my visor away, that sweet root is still highlighted for me. It makes it really, really cool. You can mark different items. That way you don't have to keep putting your visor up and basically distracting yourself like that. But we need that copper, so let's go back to the copper. Highlight it, and let's follow this around. All right, and then if you'd like to switch your multi-tool between the different installed weapons and stuff, you would press Y if you're on Xbox or triangle if you're on PlayStation. And so I can switch between my terrain manipulator and my mining beam. That way I can still mine some stuff here. And then if I want to switch over to my terrain manipulator, switch that over, and now I can dig down in the ground. And you can dig pretty deep in No Man's Sky. It's just like in like for instance Minecraft. You can dig down, but eventually you'll get to the bedrock, which is basically a portion of the planet you cannot go beyond. They don't want you digging to the center of the earth, basically. So we're going to use our terrain manipulator to mine up the copper that's over here. So let's get over here to the copper location. Recharge our hazard protections. There we go. So yeah, look at that big shining deposit. I love this thing. Look at that. It's huge. Now, there is something to know about the terrain manipulator. There are different sizes to it, and there's benefits to all the different sizes. So, by default, you're in the middle. You're a medium-sized orb. You see how there's a little circle on the ground? That's the indication of what size you are. You have small, medium, and large. The large terrain manipulator size is to dig a lot of space really, really quickly. So I can dig a gigantic hole really, really fast. Now, the downside is you don't get very many materials from that. Because you're digging really quickly, you don't get as much resources. If you want a lot of resources, you use the smaller size. So we have the biggest one right there. We get the smallest one. So if I use the smallest one and dig a hole, you'll notice it takes a lot longer and the hole is way tinier. But you get a lot more resources. Now the downside of that is it's using more fuel for my terrain manipulator. So you will burn through all of your fuel very, very quickly by using the smallest one. But if you want a lot of copper, for instance, use the smallest one and you will get a ton of it because it just slowly breaks down the copper. If you don't care, like if you're like, dude, I just want to clear out a spot, use the larger one. I would always recommend, by default, it's in the middle. It's the medium-sized one. Use the medium one. That'll give you the average amount of resources. But, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to use a small size, you'll get a lot more resources. It's just going to take you a lot longer to mine it. You know, and usually what you would use the large one for is if you're making a base. When you put down a base, sometimes you have to flatten the area around it, like the terrain is going to be rocky and mountainous. So you might want to flatten it out, right? And so you don't want to take forever by using the small one. You want to use the large one. And you don't care about resources because when you mine up the dirt, it just gives you dirt. You don't care about that. So that's why you would use the large one. You'd use the smaller one, again, on these resources, like the copper. But it's just going to take you a long time. So I generally just stick with the middle, the medium-sized one. It's a good amount. And, I mean, there's tons and tons of resources all over the place. So if I didn't get enough copper out of this deposit, all I'd have to do is just pull up my visor, look for another one, and go. And there's plenty. There's millions and billions of planets. You can land on another planet, look for some more copper, and you're good to go. So I think that's enough copper for now. So now what we need to do is we need to refine that copper into chromatic metal. So let's pop down our portable refiner right there. And then we're going to install, or we're going to input the copper. And if you don't know what I just did, but if you press up on your D-pad, it brings up your building menu. And anything you can build, basically your base building parts, will be in this menu. We've only learned how to make 2 things so far, so that's why we only have 2 items here. So we place down our refiner. Let's put some fuel in it. You need to refuel it every time you put it down. And then we need to put our copper in here. And then if you pay attention to the refiner, you'll notice it says copper, but right next to it there's a small 2 and then a 1. That means it takes 2 copper to make 1 of the output, 2 of the input to make 1 of the output. Different materials will take different amounts. Sometimes it'll be 5 to 1, sometimes it'll be 10 to 1. So it'll take 10 of that item to make 1 of the output item. But in this case, for the copper, we use 2 copper to make 1 chromatic metal. So anything we put in, it'll basically be cut in half. So we're putting in 416 copper. We're going to get 208 chromatic metal when it finishes. And so as it's cooking, it's going to take about a minute to do that. Let's finish off and grab the rest of that copper that we left over here. So just as it's cooking, because we don't need that much copper. Or, excuse me, we don't need that much chromatic metal at this point. Not yet, anyway. So let's just knock this one out, and we'll save this for later on. So, and I also, I don't know, it's a weird compulsion. I don't like leaving deposits like half done. So, okay, and then you'll run out of fuel for your terrain manipulator. You need to refuel it, and so that takes ferrite dust, or pure ferrite, or magnetized ferrite, or what I like to use is silicate powder. Silicate powder is what you get when you mine the dirt. So if I mine the dirt over here, you'll notice I start getting silicate powder. So it's the cheapest resource to use, so I always use that. I burn through it a lot. It will take a lot of silicate powder to refuel. Remember from the first episode, the more advanced the material is, the less you're going to need. The more fuel efficient it is to use in your items, your technologies. Oh, our chromatic metal is done cooking. Let's get into our portable refiner. Grab that, put it in our suit. And now we're good. And remember, don't leave your portable refiner down there. Click in your right thumbstick if you're on a controller, or if you're on a PC, click in your center mouse wheel and you'll pick it up. There you go. So now we have our we have our chromatic metal so we can make our base computer, but now we need to find a cool spot to put it. So let's look around a little bit. I want to get a good beat on things. You know what? I like this view. This view is pretty good, right? Oh, look at, there's a building over here. There's a holographic comms tower over there. But I like this view. This is a cool view. So let's pop down our base computer. So you need, again, go up on your D-pad, press up on your D-pad, and it'll bring up your menu, your build menu, and we have base computer here. And then place it down wherever you are. Now keep in mind, when you put down a base computer, you have a limited area around it that you can build. If I put down a base computer here and then I fly away, I can't build anything outside of the area. It's about a 300 unit diameter. So, I should say 600. You have about 600 feet in a big circle around your base computer. It's a pretty large area. There are ways to extend it by putting down multiple different base computers, but we're not going to go into any of that. Just know that there is a limited room around your base computer once you put it down. So let it mark the area. And now let's interact with our base computer. Searching cartographic archives. Universal Archive search reveals no prior claims on this site. Sonar test confirms site is suitable for construction. Do you want to claim the site? So, what this basically does is it connects to the No Man's Sky servers, and it makes sure that no one else made a base here ever in No Man's Sky. So, no one else made a base here, and more than likely, they won't whenever you land on a planet, because there's billions and billions of planets. It's very unlikely that someone found this spot. Now, it can happen. It can, but it's very, very unlikely. So it just basically does a quick check with the server to make sure there's no other bases around. So we're going to claim it. This is going to be our base. So now that is our base location. If you come here and try to make a base exactly where I put my base, you won't be able to. It'll say, sorry, Jason already put his base there. You need to move somewhere else. So let's get back in our base computer. Let's see what the archives are saying. Accessing log from previous user. Entry 4925D follows. Storm sweeping across something, but construction supplies low. Depositing shelter plans here. I need to, and it breaks up. Okay, be back soon. All right, so someone stored in all of these blueprints thinking they were going to come back, and they never did. So we know how to make some basic building blocks for our base. So now we have our tutorial little notification here. Essentially, it's saying, hey, look, you can make base as a shelter. So if you make a base and it has a roof and walls on it, it'll protect you from the elements. So it's really beneficial to have a base around. That way you don't get sick. You don't have to deal with the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. So first things first, let's open up our build menu by pressing up on the D-pad. And now it'll take us to the structure tab. And so we have a timber floor, we have timber walls, an angled door, an extruded wall. We have different roof panels here that we can use. So you can go through all this stuff and be really, really cool. Now pay attention. If you see this little 2 dashes on the top left of something, that means there are different variants to that piece. Meaning there's different like colors, different shapes, different angles to it. So press Y if you're on Xbox or triangle if you're on PlayStation. And it brings up all the different variables. So we have a timber door angled. Timber door angled base. Timber door angled mid. So they have different angles on that door, essentially. And then we have timber angled door top. So we have the top. The angle is going to be at the top, the middle, the bottom, or the regular. There you are. So you can choose different doors if you want to. But first, let's put a floor down. So we have our 4 floor panels here. Now you'll see it's kind of going through the ground. Don't worry about that. It'll flatten the area that you're in. So let's pop that one down there. And you'll see my character is still walking around and following it. So there are 2 different options when you're building. You can have your character walking around and you can only build in the area around your character. Or if you click in the left thumbstick, you go into a free camera. So now my character is standing still, but the camera is moving around. So you're still limited to around your character, but you can kind of get a better angle on stuff. So if you're trying to build really intricate or really cool looking bases, you might want to use the free camera. Again, click in your left thumbstick and it'll give you a free camera that you can move around with. That way you can get a better angle, better look at things while you're trying to place the pieces down. So let's do 4 different pieces here. And they will auto-snap together. You see that? You can auto-snap it. Or if you want to toggle it, you're like, hey, I don't like that. Press down on your D-pad. And now it will not snap. I can put it wherever I want. I always suggest using the auto-snapping because it makes it easier to place all the stuff. But if you want to go freehand, if you want to be all pro about it, you can totally do that if you want to. I like doing the snap, so I'll go back to snap. Again, down on your D-pad will snap it. Or down again, we'll unsnap it. You can just keep tapping that to turn it on and off. So we've built our 4 floorboards. Now let's make some walls. Timber walls. Let's put a wall around here just to make sure. And again, you can go back and you can get different walls. So we have a wall base, a wall mid, and a wall top. Wall top usually has slits in it, which lets light in. That's why I like this one. So we can put it down. Now, let's say you make a mistake, like I put a piece down right here. In the middle. It's in the middle of my base. I hate that. What the heck? I accidentally put it down there, right? If you're in your build menu like this, press in your left, or press it X if you're on Xbox, or square if you're on PlayStation. And now we're in edit mode. So I can go back and say, oh, I didn't mean to put that part there. I can delete that. So now if you highlight the item and press your left trigger, it deletes that one piece and you get all of your parts back. You get your carbon back that you used to build it. So that way, in case you make any mistakes, like you put down something you really didn't want to or anything like that, you can totally do that. Now, if you want to get back out of the edit menu, press B to go back into your build menu. And now we can just keep building back like we used to. Boom. There we go. And this is a very basic, like I'm just making a big square base here. But we don't have a roof. We can't get protected from the elements if we don't have a roof. So, go back into our building blocks, and we have 2 different roofs. We have a rounded timber roof, and we have a flat timber roof. And later on, you get way more pieces. Right now, they're just giving you the basics. They're giving you the really core elements. We're going to get hundreds and hundreds of different base building parts. All right? But for now, we're getting the basic stuff. So let's make a roof. Now, you don't have to make a roof. You can also just use a timber floor. It costs less resources, but it kind of looks shoddy. So I'm going to go with the flat timber roof. That way it looks like a roof. And we're auto-snapping here. And now we're good, but we don't have a doorway. We just have an open slot here. So let's put a door in here. And I'm going to do a angled on the top. Put it down. All right, so now we have our good square. Our Bob box is complete. We have our door here. We have walls. We have our roof. It's all good. Now you'll notice it's kind of awkward here, right? The ground is kind of coming in our base. So pull out your terrain manipulator, and if you want to switch between different modes of your terrain manipulator, you can. So this is going to be more advanced stuff. So right now we're in mining. So if I mine, it just basically digs a hole straight down. Right? We'll do that. Boom. But you can also switch it by pressing B if you're on Xbox, or O if you're on PlayStation. And now we're doing the create. So now I can make my own land. Like, look at that. Boom. There you go. And I'm like, I actually don't like that. So let's press B again, or O, and it switches over to the flatten tool. So this will flatten anything around it. And so you can get a totally level area that you'd like to build in. Oh, so I have my ring up there. Let's go switch back to the mining tool and get rid of this ring I just made. There you go. And then if you say, oh man, I really, I made a hole I didn't mean to. There's actually a restore, basically a reset version of the terrain manipulator. So keep hitting B, and at the top right, you'll see it says create, flatten, and then we have restore. So this puts back everything the way it was when you originally land. So there you are. And you'll see it highlights everything that you messed up or everything you changed in orange. So if you hit that with the restore, it'll take it back to where it was. Oh, it's restoring. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. And so I can put it right back to where it was. Very, very cool. Very, very powerful tools in No Man's Sky. Now, I will tell you, there is a bug with the terrain manipulation. If you come back like a month from now, like after I do all this work, if I come back a month from now, it might revert to its original state anyway. So you don't want to build inside of a like a mountain or whatever, because your dirt will come back into your base. So just keep that in mind. It's a weird bug that happens in No Man's Sky. It likes to revert back to what it used to be a long time ago. But I don't like this dirt hanging outside my door, so what we're going to do is we're going to switch to our flatten. There it is. We're going to go in here and we're going to flatten everything to the floor of our base. So there we are. Boom, boom, boom. So now we have a good walkway out into a nice flat area, which is beautiful. And then, again, keep in mind, this might come back later on, like a day or two or a week from now, simply because... Excuse me, sorry. I'm getting choked up over here. Simply because No Man's Sky doesn't like change. Now, one way to keep that... one way to deal with that is to upload your base. Every time you upload your base, you basically force the servers to make another copy. It basically saves a new version of your base. So you can do that by going to your base computer. Oh, look at that. I'm all jacked up. My base computer looks kind of funky, right? I don't like that. So if you go into your build menu again, and remember we have an edit menu. If you press X or square if you're on PlayStation, you'll go back into your edit. Instead of hitting left bump or left trigger to delete an item, you can press right trigger to pick it up and move it. And you can move your base computer. So if it's like in the air like mine was, or if it's just not in a good spot, all you have to do is put it down somewhere else. Now keep in mind, you see that little orange light that's in my on my base computer? That is the front, the orange light right there. So if I want to put it in the corner right here, just make sure your orange light is facing whichever direction you want to interact with it, because that's the front. That is the front of your base computer right there. So now we have it. Boom. There it is. So yeah, we can move our base. Or base computer. Now, keep in mind, once you've placed it down and you've claimed that area, even if you pick up your base computer and move it like 500 feet that way, it's not going to change your base. Your base location is locked in because you've uploaded, you basically claimed this section right here. So you can't like cheat it and move your base all over the planet and make the whole planet your base. You can't do it like that. Once you've claimed an area, it basically makes a big 600-foot circle around your the claimed area. Let's interact with our base computer. Accessing log from previous user. Additional archives recovered. Entry 4925E follows. Construction largely something, a success. Recovered salvage data from nearby. Plans logged. Scans indicate additional subterranean devices. Beginning search. Well, let's extract those plans. Whoever recorded these logs evidently had some success. I have access to their plans, and perhaps I can learn from their efforts. So we've learned how to make a construction research unit. So this device will actually let you learn different blueprints that you can build in your base. But we're going to need 20 magnetized ferrite and 1 carbon nanotube to make it. So now we need some magnetized ferrite. So we need to put down our refiner again. And we need to refine something to make magnetized ferrite. And so it's made out of ferrite, so it would make sense that we need to put in regular ferrite dust. So let's put in some ferrite dust. And we know ferrite dust turns into pure ferrite. So let's refine that. So, and just like before, ferrite dust turns 1 to 1. So 1 ferrite dust makes 1 pure ferrite. So it's a good trade. It's a good refinement. It's an easy one. You get a lot of it. You basically get all your resources back that you put in. Every pure ferrite, or every ferrite dust you put in turns into a pure ferrite. So that should be enough. Let's pull out the ferrite dust, put that away. And then if we take the pure ferrite and we put that in the refiner, now it's 2 to 1, but it'll turn the pure ferrite into magnetized ferrite, which is really, really good, but it takes 2 pure ferrite to make 1. So again, cut it in half. We're putting 207 pure ferrite in there. We're going to get 103 out of there. So we need, I believe we need 20 magnetized ferrite. So let's pull it out. And you don't have to sit here and look at it. If you back out, it'll still keep cooking. So you don't need to sit there and monitor it and make sure it's doing its job or whatever, and you're not stuck in that menu. It'll keep going until it's finished, or until it runs out of fuel, whichever one happens first. So we have our magnetized ferrite. Let's make our nanotube. There we go, right there in our build menu. And then look at it. It's a green light when it's done. It's finished. So let's get in here. And we can pick up our magnetized ferrite. And we're good. And we're going to leave our portable refiner here. That way, if I need to cook anything else, we can just pop it in there. So let's go into our build menu up on the D-pad. And now we have our construction research unit. 20 magnetized ferrite and 1 carbon nanotube. So let's pop that one right next to our refiner. And now we have our construction unit. Let's go into the menu here. Analysis unit online. Diagnostic suggestion. Users should recover salvage data from buried technology. Equip and utilize an analysis visor to look for it. So that's what we probably need to do. But before we do that, let's just check the menu. Let's go to research buildable technology. And you'll notice we have a cool menu here, but we can't buy anything because we have 0 salvage data. We don't have basically any currency to unlock any of these blueprints. So instead of doing that, let's look around. Pull up your visor. And if you look around, what we're looking for is a Wi-Fi signal looking object. We don't have anything nearby. Oh god, we don't have anything nearby. Oh no, we do. So right here, you'll see, I'll zoom in on that. So it's a weird, to me it looks like a Wi-Fi signal or a radio signal symbol. That is a buried technology module. So we need to go unbury that thing. Now that we have our terrain manipulator, we can go unbury it. So let's head on over in that direction and unbury that thing. And just pay attention to your terrain manipulator. Make sure it's in the mode you want. Again, remember, you can switch between the mining mode, the creation mode, where you can build dirt, the flatten mode, and the restore mode. You can put it back to normal. So we're going to be in the mining mode because we need to unbury that. Oh, it's going to be next to this building over here. So let's unbury this thing. We know it's right here in the dirt. So we just take our tool out and we start digging around. Okay, we got it. And all we have to do is pull it out of this broken technology module. And now we have salvage data out of that broken technology module. And they're all over the place. So if you pull up your visor, you'll be able to look around and find tons of it all over. We got some right here. Oh, right next to us. So let's go get some more. Now, I will tell you, it's very, very valuable. So you use it to unlock blueprints for your base, but you can also go and sell it and make a ton of money as well. So it's very beneficial to unbury all of the buried technology you can find. So it's really, really useful. And number one, if you're a base builder, awesome. But number two, if you just want to make a lot of money early on in the game, this is a great way to do it. Just run around for like a few minutes and get a whole bunch of buried technology. That way you can sell it. Do we have any more around here? I'm not seeing any. Oh, wait. There's one right there. Okay, good. Oh, look at that. That frigate is flying really low. You're inside the atmosphere, buddy. You better get the heck out of here. Holy cow. That is really close. Well, while we're walking around, I'm going to try to get some more materials as we're going. Unlock all of this. All these blue crystals. We're just gonna knock them all out. Get a whole bunch of dihydrogen. Very useful. All right, let's continue on to our buried technology. Where is it? Okay, over this direction. There we are. Oh, and there's a weird blobby thing next to it. So that would be a buried mineral formation, subterranean organic structure. You can knock that out by using your mining beam on it. Oh, we probably need to unbury it some more before we can attack it. There we go. Boom. And if you find some like organic structures like that, you need to actually break open the sack that you get, our viscous matter. If you break it open, well, we got some condensed carbon out of that. I like it. All right, so let's get some more technology. That should be enough. So let's head back to our base. And you can tell where your base is because you have a cool little base symbol. It almost looks like a bubble. So that's how you know that's where your base is, and you can always go back there at any time. So we're going to use the buried technology that we've been digging up. We're going to use that to unlock some blueprints in the construction research unit. So trying to head out over here. Get all these blue crystals here. And we can get some ferrite dust as well. Oh, we're breaking these rocks without scanning them. Remember in the first episode, scanning stuff gives you secondary materials and just gives you money in general. Whenever you scan something, you get a little bit of money for it. So always beneficial to scan something before you destroy it. Like I have not been doing. I should be doing that, dang it. Almost back to our base. Oh, this is where the jetpack comes in handy so you don't die when you fall down. So, in No Man's Sky, it's very hard to die from fall damage. You will take a lot of damage, but you have to fall from a really high distance, in normal mode at least, before you die. And if you die, not a big deal. You will respawn where you last saved. So, I got out of my ship. I'll respawn at my ship. And then you have to go back and collect your gravestone to collect all the items you had in your backpack when you died. So let's unlock some blueprints in the construction research unit. The first thing you should get, and probably the thing they want you to get, is the teleport module. So that costs 2 salvage data, but now we have it. So now we know how to make a teleporter. So let's put down a teleporter. And now you'll see we have different menus now. So this is our building menu up on the D-pad. And so we have our deployable technology. This is going to be like our refiner, our base computer. But we also have like our timber structure, which is our basic building blocks for our base. You also have a advanced technology, which is going to be like your base teleporter. So let's put that down. But oh, wait a minute. We need 4 metal plating and 2 nanotubes in order to build this. So let's back out of our build menu and go into our inventory. And again, we need our 4 metal plating. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to be 200 ferrite dust. And then 2 nanotubes, which is 100 carbon. Go back into our build menu and we are set. We're good to go. So let's put down our base teleporter. And we have a base teleporter, but it has no power. We need to power this thing before we can use it. So let's go back into our construction research unit. We need to figure out how to make power. Let's go to our buildable technology. And so the next thing on the list, now this is a tree, by the way. So I can't unlock the things at the bottom of the tree because the things above it are still locked. You need to go in order from top to bottom. So we need to unlock the biofuel reactor. That is going to be a generator, basically. There we go. And then we need the wire. That way we connect the generator to our teleporter. But the wire is absolutely free. So I don't know why they just don't unlock it to begin with. But you have to select it and unlock the wiring, even though it's absolutely free. It costs 0 upgrades to do that. So now we have a generator and we have a power, but we need to put it somewhere. So I know it's weird, but I like to put my generator outside of my base. I feel like there's going to be smoke. I need to make sure there's room for it. So now we have a power and industry tab. Now that we've unlocked a generator, a biofuel generator. And we need 25 oxygen, which we have, and 1 metal plating in order to make our biofuel reactor. So let's back out, make our another metal plating here. There we go. So we should be able to make a biofuel reactor. And you can put it down anywhere. It doesn't matter. You can put it inside your base if you want to. I just, I feel like it needs to be outside. But the problem is now we need to make sure the wire goes from your teleporter to your generator. Let's pick up that wire. And you'll see there's connecting. There's lightning ports where you can connect it. So if you connect it here, you snap it. And so now our wire, we can put it anywhere we want, right? But we need to make sure it connects to our teleporter. So let's go back into our base. Connect it. There should be a green plug on your teleporter, just like the generator, the green lightning bolt. So now they're connected. The problem is the generator's not making any power. Dang it. So let's back out of our build menu, and we need to activate our generator, our biofuel reactor. And so there's no fuel. Well, we need to make some fuel. So if you select the furnace, it'll tell you what you can use. We can use carbon, condensed carbon, or oxygen. Now keep in mind, it'll tell you how much you need and how much you have. Now, I don't know why the second number doesn't tell you the total of what you have. It should. But in any case, the 80 on the outside is what you need to use, and the 80 on the inside is what you have left over. So it's telling me I have 80 out of 80. But if you go into your menu, I actually have 1,379. So I have way more than enough carbon to put in my generator. It should tell me I have 1,300, but it doesn't. It's a weird bug in No Man's Sky. They'll probably fix it, but until then, just know that you have more than enough. You have the 80 that's required, so let's pick it up and drop it down. So now our generator is running, and it will run for 49 hours. 50 hours, technically. And that is real lifetime. So if I quit the game right now, and I come back 2 days from now, 48 hours now, I'll still have 2 hours left on my generator. That is crazy. So it keeps track of the time played. So make sure, like, if you want some generators going, keep track of that, because if you come back a week from now, your generator is going to be empty because, it only lasts for a couple of days in real life. So now our teleporter is looking, it's working. Look at that. So we can go somewhere, right? The problem is we haven't been anywhere except for our base, so we can't really teleport anywhere. So you need to go to different locations, and then you can start teleporting there. But that location needs to either have a teleporter or a base computer. You can go to any base computer in the galaxy with a teleporter, but you need to have a teleporter to leave. So no other location, so that's fine. And then finally, before we get crazy here, let's rename our base. So if you go back to your base computer, there it is over here. It'll give you all your information. You can take another screenshot. So if I want to capture a new screenshot, I can. And I can even move the camera. It gives you cool, like, photo mode of your base. So I can just do, like, get a good shot of it like that. So now that's what my picture is. So whenever I go to my teleporter, it'll show me this picture of my base, which is really, really cool. But above that, you'll see it says Turnal Louise Base. We don't like that name. I don't like that name. So let's hit the little pencil up here. And now you can type in whatever you want. So I'm going to name it Jason's Awesome Base. And this is going to be number 1. It's the first base we're making. So now that's the name of my my base. And then, finally, you can upload your base. That puts it on the server, which means anybody that's connected to No Man's Sky multiplayer can come here and find it. So if I upload the base, There we go. It's uploaded to the servers. Now everyone can see it. Everyone will know this base is here. They have to come to this planet, and they have to come to this position, and they'll see my base, how it is now. Now, be careful about that, though, because if I make any changes, like if I build a whole bunch of stuff here, they will not see. Nobody else in multiplayer will see it unless I go back in here and I upload it again to the base. Or upload it to the servers. You'll want to make sure anytime you make changes to your base, you upload it. That way everyone else can see it. They won't see any changes until you upload your base again. So, we have more missions from our base computer. Let's see. Accessing log from previous user. Additional archives recovered. Entry 4925F follows. Scanner detected unusual broadcast repeating 16 from the space station. Warning. End of archive. Records interrupted. The base computer archives have reached their end. It seems there is nothing more I will learn from them. My predecessor appears to have left their base and headed to the space station. Well, it's time for us to go to the space station now, you guys. So, let's pop in our ship and go back to the space station. But before we do that, I'm going to call it here. Hopefully you guys liked this episode. If you did, hit the like button. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the beginner series that we're starting in 2024. So, this is how the game is in 2024, February of 2024. So, hopefully you guys hit that like button. And I will see you next time when we go to the space station and explore that. So, I'll see you guys then.